From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, India is a spellbinding mosaic of culture, tradition, languages and an extraordinary mingling civilization. Keeping its age-old culture maintained, today the country is taking huge strides on the path of development. Hello, I'm your host Lipakshi, and today in our episode of My India, we bring you some of the stories that will give a glimpse of our country's diversity. Let's begin the show by taking you to the Queen of Hills, Shimla, which recently hosted the annual Summer Festival that celebrates the season of summer in the picturesque hill station in Himachal Pradesh. Organised at the city's famed ridge, the Fiesta is a wonderful showcase of its rich culture and tradition. Have a look.
Presenting an amazing blend of culture, heritage, food and glamour, the Shimla Summer Festival 2023 proved to be a gala affair that brought life to the whole city. The festival is celebrated every year since 1960. The festival, through its handicraft exhibitions, fashion shows and live music performances, showcases the local culture, spirit and art of Shimla. A fashion show was another extravagant highlight of the festival that drew the attention of people in the hill town. Around 50 students modelled at the show and presented every state's traditional attire with a modern touch. They were happy to get such an opportunity that will provide them an exposure as well as promote Himachali culture.
Actually, we have a total 50 students here, and in which 25 are boys and 25 are girls. And we are representing all the states of India. Like we are representing the central zone like Bihar, West Bengal, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh and Northeast also, Assam, Sikkim, Meghalaya. Every state is being connected in this fashion show, and representing this fashion show is important just because to showcase to everyone present here that we are united. We as an Indian, we have different cultures but we are united, we are one.
First of all, I would like to thank Shimla Summer Festival for giving us this big platform, especially us from Meghalaya. We didn't expect that we could get this big platform here, but I am so grateful that I could get to represent my traditions here in Shimla. What I'm wearing is this is called the muka and also the churun, and this is our traditional necklace which I'm wearing for in Meghalaya we have 3 tribes which is called the Pnar, the Khasi and the Garo. I am from Pnar tribes and I am representing my Pnar tribes here, sir.
Along with enthralling dance performances, food was another enticement that drew the attention of visitors to the festival. Mouth-watering dishes in different stalls made up for a delectable experience for the visitors. From savouring local dishes like Siddu to tickling their taste buds with street food, people had a plethora of options to indulge in.
हम शिमला घूमने आए हैं, हमने यहाँ की बहुत तारीफ सुनी थी। यहाँ पे हम आए तो हमें सडनली देखा कि यहाँ पे समर फेस्टिवल चल रहा है, जो कि बहुत ही अच्छा चल रहा है। यहाँ पे तरह तरह के शोज हो रहे हैं जो कि हम और हमारे बच्चे बहुत एंजॉय कर रहे हैं। यहाँ पे फूड फेस्टिवल भी है, तरह तरह के खाने हैं, और वैसे भी हम बहुत बिग फूडी हैं और हम बहुत एंजॉय कर रहे हैं। और वेदर ऑसम है क्योंकि थोड़ा थोड़ा रेनी है और क्लाउडी है, तो इट्स वेदर इज ऑसम। हमने बहुत एंजॉय किया यहाँ पे ऑल दिन।
Overall, the Shimla Summer Festival is a wonderful conglomeration of different art and cultural performances that not just showcase the rich traditions of the state but also promote tourism.
Well, India has a great history in Sufism that evolved around 1000 years ago. A number of Sufi saints from across the world got settled in India and spread the message of peace and harmony. Today in our episode of My India, we will take you to the shrine of Hazrat Khwaja Banda Nawaz in Kalburgi city of Karnataka, where the 619th Urs of the Sufi saint was attended by people of various religious communities. Take a look.
Decorated with glittering lights and echoing with magic and mysticism, the Dargah of Khwaja Banda Nawaz recently commemorated the 619th Urs of the Sufi saint. Situated in the Kalaburgi district of Karnataka, the shrine witnesses a sea of devotees from various backgrounds and religions who visit the shrine for fulfillment of wishes. Devotees from various districts across the state attended the 3-day event, thus giving out loud the message of unity and brotherhood.
दरगाह के बारे में ये है कि हर मजहब के लोग यहाँ आते हैं, हिंदू मुस्लिम कोई भी रहने दो, यहाँ पर सबका एकता है यहाँ पर, और यहाँ पर हम लोग हर साल आते, बहुत अच्छा लगता है यहाँ पर आने में। आज तो संदल मुबारक उनका उठा है, अब यहाँ से बंदे नवाज सरकार के 8 से 9 बजे के बीच में चद्दर यहाँ से वहाँ पर पेश की जाएगी।
A ceremonial procession, also known as Sandal Sharif, was taken out from Badi Masjid in Mominpura to the Dargah premises after the prayer. Commonly known as Banda Nawaz Gaisu Nawaz, the saint was a disciple and then the successor of Sufi saint Nasiruddin Chirag Dehlavi. He is well known among his followers for spreading the message of peace and brotherhood.
यहाँ पर जो है हिंदू मुस्लिम एकताई का जो है ना बहुत बड़ा जो है ना ये ज़रिया है। आप पूरे जो है ना हिंदुस्तान से हर जो है ना स्टेट से, कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक सब लोग यहाँ पे हाजिर होते हैं। कोई इसमें मजहबी इसमें ये नहीं है, हर मज़हब के लोग शामिल होते हैं और बहुत बड़ा फैज़ान है हज़रत बंदा नवाज रहमतुल्लाह अलैह का जो है ना गुलबर्गा शरीफ का पूरे जो है ना हिंदुस्तान पर बहुत बड़ा फैज़ान है आपका। हुजूर गरीब नवाज ख्वाजा गरीब नवाज के बाद सबसे बड़े बुजुर्ग हज़रत बंदा नवाज रहमतुल्लाह अलैह ही हैं।
These holy celebrations like Urs clearly indicate that the lesson of humanity and compassion that was once propagated by the Sufi saints is still having its roots deeply embedded in the Indian culture.
And now a roundup of some of the major stories that made news recently.
Germany's Defense Minister Boris Pistorius met with his Indian counterpart Rajnath Singh in New Delhi to boost bilateral ties between the two nations. Pistorius, who is on a 4-day visit to India, was greeted by a ceremonial reception with an honor guard in the capital and laid a wreath at the National War Memorial. Bilateral defense cooperation and industrial ties are the topics likely to have dominated discussions at the meeting between the two defense chiefs. Ahead of his visit, Pistorius said that India's reliance on Russian weapons is not a topic that concerns Germany, according to media reports.
And moving on, the Sut Mahadev Temple in the Udhampur district of Jammu and Kashmir has always been one of the most pious sites of the Union territory. Every year, a 3-day fair is organized at the temple, which is attended by people of different religious communities who visit the shrine for receiving Lord Shiva's blessings. Let's take a look at this year's fair, which gave out loud the message of brotherhood and unity. Take a look.
The Chinani Tehsil of Udhampur district in Jammu and Kashmir witnessed a sea of devotees during its Sut Mahadev fair, which was recently held at the Sut Mahadev Temple in the district. People of various religious communities, be it Hindus, Muslims, Christians or Sikhs, attended the 3-day long fair. Breaking all religious barriers, these devotees attended the fair for receiving the blessings of Lord Shiva.
उधमपुर से मैं यहाँ पे आया हूँ। अगर कहीं आपसी भाईचारे की मिसाल मिलती है तो यहाँ आके मानतलाई में मिलती है। यहाँ 3 दिन का मेला लगता है। बाहरी राज्यों से भी लोग आते हैं और पूरे जम्मू कश्मीर से लोग आते हैं। हर कम्युनिटी का लोग यहाँ आते हैं। यहाँ मानतलाई में, गौरी कुंड में पाप नाचनी यहाँ पे है, वहाँ पे स्नान के लिए लोग आते हैं और हर वर्ग का बंदा यहाँ आता है और कई लोग यहाँ पे बिजनेस करते हैं। एक बहुत बड़ा बिजनेस यहाँ पे होता है, लोगों का रोज़गार बनता है। तो आज हम यहाँ पे आए हैं, बहुत खुश हैं। जब भी ये मेला आता है तो हम लोग बहुत खुश होते हैं। यहाँ बहुत ज़्यादा रौनक होती है, रश होता है। ग्रामीण इलाकों के लोग आते हैं, शहरों के लोग आते हैं। 3 दिन यहाँ एक उत्सव बना रहता है।
Devotees took a holy dip in the Bini Sangam, also known as Buddhi Siddhi rivulet, which flows out from the top of the Dhar Shivgar. Some devotees also bath in the Gauri Kund and offer prayers at Aab Sambhu Temple. This historic temple is situated on the banks of river Devika, which is believed to be the elder sister of goddess Ganga and is one of the most revered sites in the Union Territory.
यहाँ पे हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख, ईसाई सभी धर्म के लोग यहाँ पे आते हैं, माथा टेकते हैं और सुख संपत्ति का कामना करते हैं। हम भी यहाँ पे जो पुजारी वर्ग सभी सुबह शाम जब आरती होती है यही माता प्रार्थना करते हैं कि पूरे ब्रह्मांड में, पूरे धरती पर ये माता का आशीर्वाद प्राप्त हो और लोगों की मनोकामनाएं पूर्ण हो।
It is events and occasions like these that show the beauty of unity in diversity that prevails in India.
And now we bring you a few short stories about the recent developments and happenings from around the world in our section of World in Focus.
Prague's old town was filled with music and dancing as bands and dancers representing Roma communities from across Europe celebrated on the last day of an international festival of their culture and traditions. The week-long Chamorro festival is in its 25th year. Spokesperson Watchdog Slavica said, adding that in the past quarter century, more than 500,000 people had attended the celebrations.
Festival Chamorro má 25. výročí, to znamená funguje čtvrtstoletí. Samozřejmě festival děláme proto, aby jsme propagovali romskou kulturu, nejenom muziku, ale i třeba výtvarné umění a další segmenty kultury. No a samozřejmě těšíme se na další ročníky s tím, že ty předchozí vidělo více než 500 000 lidí. Vystoupilo 263 kapel z 33 zemí světa a ten letošní ročník byl opravdu úspěšný, protože měl velkou návštěvnost, takže jsme spokojení.
Wearing colorful costumes and playing traditional tunes, participants marched through the Old Town from Wenceslas Square to Old Town Square, a magnet for tourists visiting the city. Roma are Europe's largest ethnic minority, with up to 12 million living across the continent, most of them in Central and Eastern Europe, and frequently face discrimination and struggle to access work and education. French President Emmanuel Macron visited the Mont Saint-Michel monument in Normandy to mark the abbey's 1000th anniversary. It was built on a sanctuary dedicated to the Archangel Michael, but it was in the 13th century that work began on the Gothic centerpiece of its architecture, with towering walls and soaring pinnacles.
Puis venir là aussi, c'est être au rendez-vous de notre histoire, de ce qu'elle nous inspire et ce en quoi elle nous oblige. Et je pense que c'est aussi une saison estivale, un lieu qui est l'un des plus visités de France, qui est au cœur de notre histoire, qui nous enseigne cet esprit de résistance que nous avons su à chaque fois avoir et d'élévation. C'est ça l'enseignement du Mont Saint-Michel.
The Mont Saint-Michel is one of the most visited French monuments and attracts more than 2 million tourists every year. In summer, thousands of visitors make the crossing on foot, by bicycle or by shuttle bus to reach the historic monument every day. Russian Orthodox Christians in Moscow said they were honored and pleased to have marked Trinity Sunday at the Cathedral of Christ the Savior with one of the country's holiest icons, Andrei Rublev's Trinity. The revered work of art was transferred from Tretyakov Museum last month despite opposition from art historians, fearing that the move could damage it.
Для меня Троица и произведение искусства необыкновенное Рублёв, да, и святая икона, которая прошла через всю жизнь, как говорится, с нашим народом, с нашим государством. Это единение какое-то, я так думаю.
President Vladimir Putin's decision to move the Trinity icon underscores his growing reliance on the church for support as the Ukraine war drags on. The Cathedral of Christ the Savior is a vast church that was blown up under Joseph Stalin but was rebuilt in the 1990s after the fall of the Soviet Union. The icon depicts the Oak of Mamre, where the three angels visited Abraham in the book of Genesis.
From unprecedented revenue collections and discretionary spending to record surges in exports and foreign direct investment, from attaining unparalleled infra development velocity to a sustained decrease in inflation indices, India is now reaping the benefits of a meticulously calibrated decisions in every aspect of the economy. Join us as we discuss how the Modi government navigated the choppy waters in the most skilled and prudent manner, and how the Indian economy has reached a stage where it is simply unshakable.
What has India done that others haven't in order to reach where it is today? One of the coveted 5 economies of the world, growing at the fastest rate. The most straightforward answer is almost everything. From strategizing long-term economic goals to effectively implementing reforms and measures, and from little tweaks for optimal results to complete overhauling of several frameworks, the brains behind the Indian economy have successfully delivered on both individual aspirations and the nation's progress.
If you look at the annual data, as you rightly said, we have grown at 7.2%. The projection was 6.8%. We have again exceeded the projection. That is something very positive. Where are we exceeding? We have done well on exports, but the most important thing that we have done well on is on the gross fixed capital formation.
From bringing mom-and-pop stores under the purview of the government, in line with successful efforts towards formalization of the economy, the Modi government took off with an aim to ensure the tax base of the country was widened and the people at the lower economic ladder received enough opportunities for upward financial movement. The formalization of the Indian economy ensured incentives, social security benefits, easy access to credit and financial services to those who complied, and a complete makeover of the business environment of the country.
In this report, Morgan Stanley have highlighted certain very important factors such as supply-side policy reforms in relation to corporate taxes, which have in India come to a level of about 26%. Real estate, significant changes have taken place. Digitalization of the economy has occurred on a very large scale.
Having navigated the initial phase of hardship where low-income business entities were affected, the long-term impact of government endeavors have started to bear fruit, with nearly all businesses across the country contributing to the country's financial system. And while the smaller businesses were tracked and taxed for the larger good of the country, India ensured her big businesses continued to flourish and came up with mechanisms that enabled a fearless business environment.
So there are many good changes for Indian economy, like RERA, bankruptcy court, supply side reforms, then good MNC culture, focus on FDI, then of course corporate profits.
Businesses were deregulated, and excessive bureaucratic measures and red tape were dealt a heavy blow. India has also done away with retrospective tax laws. India has cultivated a favorable environment for investors. India received a record $84.8 billion USD in foreign direct investment, including $7.1 billion in foreign direct investment equity inflows in the fiscal year of 2022. India is also making great efforts to accelerate infrastructure development. From airways to railways and roadways, a swift expansion and upgradation are set to enhance the macroeconomic dividends of the country. This makeover is also projected to significantly reduce India's logistics expenditure from around 16% to 10 to 12% in the coming years. India's digitalization endeavors have also gained global recognition, with an increasing number of countries seeking to emulate her transaction model. The digitalization effort has extended services and incentives to even the most remote individuals and entities. The government's visionary ideas and effective implementation have cumulatively positioned India on the path to achieving remarkable growth. Some of the results are already available for everybody to see. India's per capita income has witnessed a tremendous spike recently and is projected to grow to about $5,200 USD by 2032.
The other thing about the Morgan Stanley report that I found really interesting was that the per capita income of an average Indian will rise 2.36 times, nearly 2.5 times in the next 8 years.
Morgan Stanley estimates the inflation in the country will remain benign and less volatile, which would pave an obstruction-free growth passage for the country. India's consumption basket is also increasing, and the country is fast moving towards discretionary spending.
This, we believe, is an outcome of structural reforms, of supportive policies, and of course good governance, which has led to India occupying its rightful place at the high table of global economies.
The Indian approach has sparked a fresh sense of optimism among multinational corporations, which are looking towards the Indian market with great enthusiasm. From Apple Inc. to Google, major corporations across sectors are expanding their footprints in India. Some say India is likely to become the most attractive investment destination around the world in the near future. The country has already registered a significant leap in global rankings in terms of ease of doing business. The Indian market is thriving with a renewed vitality, and the government is ensuring a sustained period of such economic growth, preventing any form of slowdown.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Your comments and suggestions are important to us. Do give us your feedback at myindia@anin.com. I'm your host Lipakshi, and it's goodbye from the entire production team.